So, good morning, Cheryl Lynn. So, and Joe from New Zealand. Hello. So now, let me begin. My talk this morning is on Krishnamurti. And I was very excited when I heard that one of our listeners had suggested this talk and and I knew nothing about Krishnamurti, so I offered to take it on. So I would love to share this morning the little that I know with you. And I hope you'll be as inspired as I was to learn about him. So he's an interesting character. Krishnamurti was born in India in 1895 and he lived until 1986. And he is regarded as one of the most influential spiritual figures and philosophical figures of the 20th century. He was an interesting fellow because he claimed to have no caste, no attachment to nationality, no attachment to religion, and he was not bound to tradition. So you might say he was a universal person. And he believed that his purpose was to set humankind unconditionally free from the destructive limitations of the conditioned mind, which was quite a task. Well, listen to this quote. This is how he saw truth. He said, "Truth is a pathless land, and you cannot approach it by any path whatsoever, by any religion, by any sect. Truth cannot be brought down. Rather, the individual must make the effort to ascend to it. I desire to free man from all cages, from all fears, and not to found religions, new sects, nor establish new theories and new philosophies." I think key to this quote is the aspect of the individual must make the effort to ascend to it. Key to his teaching was the individual. He wrote prolifically, he traveled, he lectured, he gave interviews. And besides that, he founded schools in India, Britain, and the US to promote a holistic education. And he had no permanent home. He lived in California, India, and Britain, and moved to wherever he was required to speak. He lived to the ripe old age of 90, and in 1986 that was quite significant. And his life was full till the very end. How did he see his role? He saw his role as being like a signpost. He said, "I am merely pointing the direction. The signpost is not important at all. What is important is the one who is journeying." Now, this links up with what he said earlier on about the individual. The speaker is not a guru. He is not an authority. He is not a guide. One has to take the inward journey alone, not as a reaction away from outward things, but as the inevitable process of trying to understand. So we learn a great deal here. We understand that he sees the individual as important. We understand that it is an inward journey. Elsewhere, he says the whole world is within. And we have the key to the door in our hand. So this is a very beautiful description. He also has spoken about being like a friend, walking on the path with the searcher and presenting views and mirroring what the speaker has to say. So he left an amazing legacy, over 600 videos, 2,500 entries, transcripts, over 5,000 meetings, a voluminous collection of work, and the schools. And of course, this has helped his philosophy, although he wouldn't have called it philosophy necessarily, has helped his teachings to remain current and people to have access to them. They are freely available if you search the web. He was a mystic, especially in the natural world. When he went into nature, he went into meditation. He saw the great use of meditation, and when he went into nature, I've read, he asked if he could walk in the forest. He asked if he could touch the trees, the plants. He became so still and so connected with nature that reports say that animals, like St. Francis, came and sat close to him. I really love this prose poem. It describes so much of the universality of his teaching and his own spiritual path. I saw him fill the sky and the blade of grass. I saw him in the heights of the trees. I beheld him in the pebble everywhere, and I saw him in myself. Therefore, my temple was filled, and my holy of holiest was completed. I was with him. He was I, and this was my truth. Beautiful. And this is his inward journey that he did not believe was particular to him, in the sense that it was the potential of every individual. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take 5 quotes and I'm going to speak about them and show you how they relate to his teaching. The first of the quotes, and particularly to freedom, which was the cornerstone of his teaching. The first of the quotes is freedom from the past. He said, "Without freedom from the past, there is no freedom at all, because the mind is never new, fresh, innocent. It is only the fresh, innocent mind that is free." Krishnamurti believed that when we transferred the past into the present, we were covering the present moment with a shroud. He often uses the idea of being dead to the past. And it makes perfect sense, because one cannot connect with the novelty, the freshness of the present moment if one is living in the past. And even in the most obscure, seemingly innocent of ways, in our traditions, in our belief systems, transferring them in, they come from the past and they influence how we see the future and how we actually live in the present moment. So that was very important to him. The next quote is a very short quote. It says, he said, "The only freedom is the freedom from the known." It's a little bit like, I know nothing at all. If we say we know, we are immediately in the past because we know something. There's duality there. We must have transferred from the past into the present moment. We must have imported some construct or idea which is going to inhibit the connection with the knowledge that is deep within. These two things are completely different. When we say I know, and when we connect with the knowledge within. So it's a very, very powerful statement. There can be no connection with the knowledge within if we are attached to the known. The next slide is about habits. He says, freedom has nothing to do with age, thank heavens. It has nothing to do with experience. And it seems to me that the very essence of freedom lies in understanding the whole mechanism of habit, both conscious and unconscious. The very essence of freedom lies in understanding the whole mechanism of habit. Again, it's a reference to the past. Habits are acquired and they stick and we import them into our life. What is essential to Krishnamurti's teaching is attention. He speaks about the power of attention in the present moment. And with this attention, he speaks about care, compassion arising. If there's a habit, it forms like a cover. And if we do things through habit, we are not conscious and aware. And we cannot give full attention. I can wash the dishes beautifully by habit. And I'm surprised they even get clean. That's a small thing, but our habits can range from our belief systems that click into place, our prejudices that click into place, our ways of doing things, the roles we assume, all of that. So he is saying that habit is a cover, and there can never be freedom with habit. So the last slide I wish to speak to you about is about love. Freedom and love were synonymous to Krishnamurti. He says, freedom and love go together. Love is not a reaction. I love you because you love me, that is mere trade, a thing to be bought in the market. It is not love. To love is not to ask anything in return, not even to feel that you are giving something. And it is only such love that can know freedom. Isn't that magnificent? the reciprocation of love and freedom. If one is filled with love, there is total, unconditional acceptance. And then one is totally free. And one cannot be totally free until there is. One cannot love fully until there is total freedom to do so. So the two support each other. To close off, I'd like to give you a quote from one of his biographers, Peter Mitchell. And he speaks about freedom and love. He says, freedom and love, Krishnamurti's entire life, as well as every one of his words, are embedded in them. Freedom and love. They are the key to understanding the mystery of Jiddu Krishnamurti. And how wonderful to have two words like that associated with an embodiment. Thank you so much for listening today. I would love to hear your responses. And please remember to share this video if you like it, and be with us next week at the same time. Thank you very much for your contribution. Angela says, habit isn't freedom, of course, the opposite to Aristotle's phronesis and to psychology, which teaches us that the rhythm of habit creates mental stability and building of solid grounding. Well, maybe that's a good stepping stone. It can bring about freedom if we use it in the right way. And what more do we have to say here? Thank you very much, everyone. I have really enjoyed giving this talk to you.